Alright, just go ahead and take and put a drop on here. Not too much. Pretty simple. A couple drops. And then you just put that back in the hole. That's all you have to do. Simple fix. Tighten them back down. You're done. Now explain this to me. Here's your tilt lever that just tilts the column. You look down there, you can see there's Loctite on there from factory. You've got the actual bolt that does all the tilt, holds all the pressure behind it. There's no Loctite from factory. Now, explain to me why. I don't get it. Alright, I went ahead and cleaned up the joint here, the little knuckle. It's going to take some little grease. It's just wheel bearing grease. It'd probably be just fine. Just kind of lube this up. I figure since you're here, might as well just go ahead and clean that up and put some fresh grease in there. So, pretty self-explanatory. Just put some grease in there. Not too hard. And then also, this greaser races here a little bit. And this one too. Just so it goes back together smooth. You also have a bearing down here. It doesn't hurt to put a little grease on there. Just in case you got some dirt in there, just kind of grease it up a little bit. I found that if you grease these little feet too, it makes your tilt real nice and quiet. It's kind of nice. So, and then there's a bearing also on the other side. We'll go ahead and grease that when we assemble it back together. So that's pretty much it for that. We put the bolts in and gonna start putting it back together. Alright, I went ahead and slid this thing back on. It's a little tricky. You gotta actually take this shifting mechanism off, put it on the column itself back here, and then slide everything forward, and also using this tilt to tilt back the feet and just kind of wiggle it into place. But when you get it to where you think you're supposed to be, check your key just to make sure that it is doing what it's supposed to be. That's your accessory. That's your off, your key forward, and then your start and your accessory. So just check all that before you start assembling everything back together. So we got these pins that we're going to just hit in with our hammer just till they're flush, and then we'll put that spring right back in here. We'll go ahead and do that. We went ahead and put the pins in. You just hit those in with just a ball peen hammer, works just fine. And take your little clip, we put the spring back in here, just greased it up a little bit. Put the spring back in. The needle nose pliers seems to work real good. This goes in, and turn it, and you're done. Alrighty, we went ahead and took care of this top collar. We just slid that on, put the 3 T30s back in. Okay. Right now we have the high beam, low beam, high beam, low beam. Now that is a fun little project. It's all right back in here. There's a rod that comes up in here that attaches to this. That rod goes all the way down to the column, and then there is another switch on the column. So sometimes that rod will fall out and you'll have to kind of get it lined up. But basically that's going to be your little test. Figure out how to do that. It's not fun, but once you get it done, it feels real cool that you were able to get it done. So it's something to kind of work on, but the rest of it will pretty much go back together the same way it came apart. So we're going to go ahead and put the key buzzer in, put the switch back in, put the canceling cam in, hook up the rod, and test it all up. We headed, put everything back together, checked our hazard switch. Seems to be working just fine. Check your left blinker. Check your right blinker. Check your key. Accessory. Start. Back to accessory. Make sure everything's working just fine. Go ahead and put the horn back in and put it together. She's all done. Alrighty, all we have left is our horn cam, our plate, and that just kind of goes like this. Only goes on one way, it's kind of splined. And we'll take and put our little C-clip on there. And then we'll put our installer back in place and push this back down, and we'll be all done. Alrighty, we went ahead, put our clamp back on. And so all we're going to do is just push this spring down. Everything's just in reverse. So you can do it as far as you can with your fingers. And just go ahead and push it down the rest of the way with your little pliers. So there you go. Just put it into place. And we'll back out the puller. You go ahead and put your wheel back on and just cinch it down. There, compressor, you're good. We'll hook the horn back up and it's all done. Okay, she's all done. Now look how solid, I can't even move it. So, good deal. Tilt works just fine. Up and down. Horn works. Blinkers. So she's all good. About 2.5 hours to do it. Save yourself about $150 at the dealership.